welcome to the very first Ridiculous Nicholas podcast.
Yay!
We are here and we're happening and we're doing. And today's episode is brought to you by Team Link of Hooksett, New Hampshire. Team Link Martial Arts School. They're right on Hooksett Road in Hooksett. They do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts, kickboxing. And one of the founders is MMA great Gabriel Gonzaga, one of the top contenders in the UFC, and he's one of the founding members. He comes up and does seminars pretty often there. And once again, they're at 1338 Hooksett Road in Hooksett, New Hampshire. The phone number there is 603-641-3444. And if you go there and you tell them that you heard about them on the Ridiculous Nicholas podcast, they will give you 30 days free of lessons, whether it be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts, kickboxing. They give you 30 days free lessons and a free t-shirt. It's a great school. I've been training there for about 3.5 years now, and I love it. I mean, the instructors there are great, and the people there are great. There's no meatheads, and there's nobody there that's trying to rip your head off your shoulders, and so that's a nice thing. Because I've gone to a lot of places there where they, yes, just like that. Yeah, they go in and they want to kill you, and I'm too old for that now. I'm not in that spot anymore. I'm just trying to be healthy and learn more stuff, and these guys have a lot to teach. So 30 days free, BJJ, MMA, kickboxing, and a free t-shirt, a free Team Link t-shirt, and that's Team Link in Hooksett, New Hampshire. And we're also brought to you by Pizza 911.
Woo,
what is your pizza emergency? What is your pizza emergency? Emergency. What is your pizza emergency? What is it? Como se dice emergency? Como se dice emergency? Emergency. Como se dice emergency? Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 911. 911. Emergency. Cuidado. Oh, all right.
Good
Pizza 911. Pizza 911. They were voted best pizza in Manchester by the Hippo Press. They got a lot of great food there. I eat there a lot. They've got gluten-free pizza. They've got great subs, great sandwiches, salads. And their phone number is 625-2201, Pizza 911. If you mention that you heard about Pizza 911 on the Ridiculous Nicholas podcast, they will give you some free breadsticks. Free breadsticks if you mention that you heard us on the podcast. Now you have to buy something. You can't just go in and get free breadsticks. But if you go and get something to eat there, they will give you free breadsticks with your meal, whatever that meal might be. And that's it. Those are our wonderful sponsors of the Ridiculous Nicholas podcast here today, this afternoon. And this is our first episode. And I'm so very, very excited to be here with two of my dearest friends, Miss Lisa Geyer.
Hello.
And the wonderful and beautiful Buddy Sullivan.
Wow, beautiful.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, that beard is delicious.
Hair farmer.
He is a hair farmer from way back. So this being our first show, we don't have any guests here today. We're just going to hang out and BS. And if you have any kind of disdain for foul language, then you might want to change the channel because there might be some foul language here. So that's your one and only warning from here on out.
Disclaimer. That's your disclaimer.
Yep, it's going to be dicks and farts, a lot of that. So
I didn't sign up for that.
beware. Lisa, listen. How many times do we have to go over this?
I read and then I didn't see. I'm not sure.
You've signed the name on the paper, right?
Yes.
You didn't read any of it?
I read some of it.
Okay. Did you read the part? You read the part where you have to provide snacks for everybody.
Look at
Obviously.
I nailed that.
I see that you have all the snacks here.
I read it.
Right? Okay.
Good.
What about the foot massage? Did you get that?
Yeah, I'm getting one, right? You're
Yeah.
giving me one.
Right.
Yes.
It's written in that I have to give you one. So
Correct.
if
I've read that
hold it-
part, too.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I've read that.
All right. This is stupid. I don't care. So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna sit here and bullshit. That's gonna be our
Chit-chat.
thing. We're gonna chit chat about things. We're gonna talk about stuff.
Tell me how you met me and how you know me.
Well, Miss Lisa Geyer, I met you through one of my dearest friends, my best friend, Mr. Tim Pike.
We're going to have stories about Tim Pike.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. We'll probably have to change his name at some point. We just have to call him
Tim Tyke?
Willie.
Oh.
Willie Jim Bap.
Well, Willie Jim.
Remember Willie Jim Bap
I
at one
remember
time?
Willie Jim Bap. I remember him.
Remember Willie Jim Bap from way back in the time there? Willie Jim Bap. So I met you through Tim, and he was part of the Wednesday night hoo-ha down at the Black Brimmer, the former Black Brimmer,
In Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yep, the now Jade Dragon, but
Good times. What a good decade and 3 years that was. That's another way to say 13. 13
decade and
years.
3 years.
Decade and 3 years.
That is one way to say.
Love that. What a great time that was, right? Never gonna happen again. So people bought the place and they were like, oh, we want you to do those Wednesdays again here. And I was like, it's never gonna happen again, man.
I don't
The
know.
way it kind of came about, and it started out as Mama Kicks just being the duo, right? It was just the two of us in the band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It started just with the two of you there.
Yeah, they had just, it was the Renaissance restaurant for like 1,000 years, and that closed down, and those guys, like 5 owners or whatever, bought and made it the Black Brimmer. And one of the owners, who was pinnacle in all that success before he passed, Billy, he came and saw our place somewhere. He's like, I want you at my place. I just opened this place, blah, blah, blah. So I said, we'll do an off night for you, and that's how it kind of came about. And so we went in, the two of us, cheap money, because it was just the two of us on a Wednesday. We were like,
Yeah.
who cares, right? So it started like that. It just grew. And he was a great man. Anytime our numbers went up, he would just give us more money. I've never, ever had a club owner, bar owner, just offer you extra money because your numbers are up. Just a really great dude. And so our numbers kind of went up in 2 months. He gave us more money, and then it just kind of escalated from there. And then it became kind of the popular place on the weekends, and it was just really cool. I held my first CD release party there, and I built a stage for it, and then they went back in and built a stage, and that's just kind of how it came about. And then I added somebody, and I was like, hey, if you give me a little more money, I can add a special guest every week, seeing that we're here every week, and that's just how it built. So for me, that's why I say it's never going to happen again, because if they want to hire me to put a band together to go in and play, we were going to call it, I named it, we were going to call it Remember Wednesdays, right? Right? So,
that is clever.
Thank you.
That is clever.
For all men. So, yeah, we were gonna, and I was just like, you know what? I thought about it, and I was like, this is never gonna happen, because they wanted me to play for a sliding scale, and I was like, I'm not doing it, and that made me realize that this happened, and the economy was great. When that went down, people came out on Wednesday night and just partied all night long, didn't leave till 1 o'clock in the morning, didn't care they had to go to work the next day.
It was, for people that don't know, for people that never went to that thing, it was as packed, if not more packed, on a Wednesday night than it was on a Friday or Saturday. That place was wall-to-wall people there the whole night, dancing their asses off and having a good time. And it was such a cool place. And it's, you know, not only the great musicians that were there in the band, but you guys had unbelievable people that would just pass through.
Yeah.
We're there on hey, people on Wednesday. Oh, it's the guys from Journey.
Oh yeah.
The guys from Journey would just stopped in, or Sully Erna just stopped in one night.
Well, that came about because of my really good friend Candy Bramante. Oh God, I miss her. Daddy's Junkie Music Stores here all over New England, right? And she
Rest
ran.
in peace.
Oh, I know, right?
I never thought I would see the end of that
I
place.
never thought I'd see that.
I still, when I drive by there on South Bullitt Street, I just go, God damn it.
I know, it's so sad. Ugh, I know. But it was because of her. Her and I were good friends, and she ran, I don't even know what the department was she ran, but she was the one who put all the clinics together, and so she knew all these kind of people, and they came into town. And because it, the Mama Kicks and the Brimmer kind of became this thing on Wednesday nights, like even people who came from out of town for business would be at the Ramada downtown, and they'd go to the concierge.
Yeah,
And say, what's to do here on a Manchester, New Hampshire on a Wednesday night? And they would go, Black Burma, Mama Kicks, like hands down. I had people coming in from all over the country on a regular basis because they'd just come that one time they were in town for business, and they'd be like, we are planning our business trip every month so that we're here on a Wednesday to party with you guys. So Candy kind of did the same thing. She would be like, she'd bring in Billy Sheehan, Journey, like when they were all in town, these people that she was, so many I can't even mention.
Well, it was such a hip thing. It was almost like an LA thing.
It really was.
It was almost like an LA thing where just people just pop in, just these crazy rock stars just pop in and sit in with the band.
But the cool thing was it was Wednesday, so not all of us had regular gigs on Wednesday as musicians go, so it was kind of became a musician's night. You came in and that's where I met you.
Yeah.
And I think that was the success of it, is the night that it fell on. So Skunk Baxter came in a couple times.
Yeah,
It was really cool, man, because they would be doing a gig on a Tuesday or a Thursday. They'd be kind of coming through town somewhere, and she would bring them in.
John Popper
came in a couple of times. John Popper came in and did the benefit we did for the Briggs benefit for the police officer who was killed.
Yeah.
He came in for that too. Yeah, I know. I met so many great people, and I have Candy Bramante to thank for that. She was very pinnacle in bringing those people all in, and and then I'm so grateful. I mean, yourself and I, really a handful of musicians that are really close friends of mine that I've played in bands with now. I would have never met those people on that kind of level, like the Tim Terrios and yourself and, so many others. We were always working. We were working musicians.
Yeah.
And so there's no way that I would have ever had a chance to meet them. You know what I mean? I would have been like, oh, maybe someday when I have a night off, they'll be playing somewhere and I can go see them play. And it'd be like, hi, I'm Lisa Guy, or oh, hi, nice to meet you. But the level I got to know all these guys that were my featured performers that night, we just all became friends. And, I'm so grateful for that. It's one of the huge highlights in my, my 35-year career as a working musician, that I've had 3 house bands in my career, like long-term house band gigs, and that one was the longest on an off night, and the most rewarding of them all. Just so cool. I felt so blessed. That's a huge highlight in my career. That thing, because it was David Stefanelli, the drummer in the band, coined it. What did he say? It was Friday night in the middle of the week. That's what he
Yeah, that's an accurate depiction.
We used to say that all the time. Oh, it's Friday night in the middle of the week.
And it was, so not only, for me, now it was just as, the level of musicianship in the band was top notch. Always, the band was cutthroat and brutal. But as entertaining as the band was musically, there was a rapport that you guys all had. Everybody, especially you and Stefanelli, were so fucking funny. So funny. And it was so effortless. That was the beauty of it, none of it was contrived. None of it was, there was stuff you'd set up, but it was never schmarmy or schmaltzy, it was always off the cuff and fun and funny. And it was just the whole show from beginning to end was always such a fun time. And it was packed house, people were there, and one of the things the most important things for me that came out of that is that I met my wife there.
Oh yeah.
I
remember that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's funny, when Steph joined the band, joined Mama Kicks, we were together 7 years already, and that was actually because of the Brimmer too. When I said to the owner, if you give me a little bit more money, I'll bring some other musicians in to play with us, so it's not just the 2 of us all the time, it was pretty limited. So they did give me a little extra money, and I would have like a featured guitar player, Tim Pike. He would come in a lot, and then all of a sudden I knew David Stefanelli for a while, and I remember calling because he was in this little duo playing guitar, The Beloved Few, and they had this great record out and whatever, but he wasn't playing drums, he primarily was a drummer. Great drummer. And I was like, do you want to come in and play drums with us? And that's literally how that came about. See, again, without the Brimmer, that never happens. And I was like, you're not playing drums right now. Do you want
I
to
never
come in
knew
on
that.
Wednesdays? Yeah.
I always thought that you guys were
Nope.
a unit before
Nope.
that. Yeah.
No, I mean, I knew Steph.
Yeah.
But, no, and so he started coming in, and it just jived, and the Beloved Few thing was, I don't know what was ever happening with that, it just jived, and so then we became that trio that was together, you know, for like another 7 or 8 years before we had Chris Lester as the lead guitar player. And I did that because I wanted to do that because the Brimmer was so much fun for me. On Wednesday, I would pretty much start the week out like that. Our 4-night a week work week was Wednesday, and I started out with the best night, and I had the freedom. I wasn't the guitar player singer. I wasn't strapped to that microphone all night like we were as the trio and all the other stuff, right? So, it was so fun for me to just front the band again, get a more wireless microphone in my hand and be free to jam and do other things that guitar-wise I didn't have ability to jam on or whatever, right? So that's why that kind of came about for me, and Lester had come back from, he had been living in LA for 10 years or so, and he had come back and kind of came in, and I was like, dude, if you bring your bass, you can sit in, I'll try to get you some tip money or whatever. And then that moved forward into, he had been playing guitar and played in this little duo or whatever, and I said, well, I'll feature you as the guitar player one time. And then it was just, I don't know, it was just a thing for me. I was like, I want to get him in the band. I want to have him be the lead guitar player in the band, so it frees me up. I still play guitar, but it freed me up to front the band and added a whole new element. We did a bunch more rock and roll type stuff. We did a little bit of it as a trio, but we did more. It freed me up, and it took us that next level. So again, that was the Brimmer too. I just realized that talking about it.
Huh.
That was the Brimmer.
Well, that's the only part of it that I knew. Because I knew you before Lester was there. So, I was there when it was just the three of you, and then you had different guests come through, Tim Terrio, Pike, whoever, and then Pike was with you for like a year or something.
Off and on, yeah. He didn't play with us solidly.
Yeah.
He must have been doing other things. Yeah, he's Tim, he's doing other things. He couldn't commit to being, but when I needed a guitar player for something, like I'd be like, we have this thing or function or whatever, and I would want to bring that element in, I would ask him if he would do it with us.
Yeah.
Because we played in the Wicked Big Band together.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
What?
I didn't know he was in the Wicked Big Band.
Yes!
No, I didn't know that. I knew you and G were in it.
So that Wicked Big Band was first the classic show band. It was in 88 to 91, right? And that was a thing and so that place closed, and we moved to the Yard in Manchester, and everybody kind of came with, and Gardner was
still open?
Yeah, I think so. I think they are. So Gardner was the musical director of that, pretty much owned it, so to speak. And so we moved to the Yard, and then, whatever, people, it had been 4 or 5 years at this point that band had been together from classics to there, and a few members were leaving or whatever, and a guitar player was leaving, and we held auditions. Oh my God, we just talked about this, didn't we? Buddy Sullivan auditioned for that gig. I didn't even remember it.
Buddy audition, you snubbed him?
I didn't snub him. He was really young.
You snubbed me.
I didn't snub you. He was really. How old were you? Because if I was probably 30.
What year was it?
I don't know, 93, maybe.
22.
Yeah. Yes, because I was probably about 30. So he was 22 years old, And so we had a whole bunch of people audition for that thing, and Pike didn't actually get it. We hired someone else who didn't work out. And then Pike had been playing with Crossfire, I think, and he became free, and somebody else knew him or something, and then he came in and, he was
Crossfire!
Yeah. He totally got the gig, Buddy just told me that the other day. We were talking, and he was like, yeah, well, what did you tell me? How did it come up? Something about singing, and he said, you're the one that got me singing or something? I don't know. What'd you say?
In the audition you asked me if I sang, and I said no, and then I was like, oh man, I wish I sang. I started singing.
Yeah, because that was a big part. Like if we were going to hire somebody to be in the band, we did everything from a Satchmo tune to AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, the whole spectrum, R&B. So it's a horn band. So we did everything. So it was important to me we had a lot of singers in the band to sing backups, really great backup parts and nail it and stuff like that. But I don't remember that. Sorry. I remember now that you told me. Does that count?
Nope.
Oh, damn it.
That's one of the things I'm really lucky with in my band, is that, my Gus, my guitar player, and
Yeah.
Rick, my drummer, are both really good singers.
Rick's really
And they both know how to sing harmonies.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like they can sing, but they can only sing what they can sing. They can both do harmonies,
Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
So I'm probably the weakest link as far as harmonies go.
Well, the cool
You
thing
know?
is with those two guys, when I go to see you, you have this amazing, the loudest voice I've ever heard in my life. I'm a pretty loud singer, and so is Gardner Berry, but you're out of control, how much volume comes out of you. And that they blend so well with you. That would be a hard thing to do because you're such a, but they blend so well with you.
Well, I've worked hard on that, about finding the right spot,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why it's really like, whenever we're, like if we're doing our own sound, I can find it pretty handily,
Yeah.
but if we're going somewhere that's sound, I have to really have to be on the sound guy about getting them up in my monitors, because most people are like, no, I don't want any other, and I'm like, no, we're doing 3-part, 4-part harmonies, I need to hear what they're singing. I need to know so I can slip in where I need to slip in at,
Yeah.
you know?
I agree.
Otherwise, I could be out here, I could be singing somebody's part, and you know, even though I've sang it 1,000 times, I still need to hear it.
Yeah. You
You
want to
know?
hear it. It's the, you want
Yeah, and I want to hear it. You're right.
Sounds
'Cause that's
good.
right.
Yeah.
That's the shit that gives me the goosebumps.
Correct.
But
Makes
all
you
of a
sing
sudden,
better.
it's like, oh my God!
Makes you sing
Did
better.
you hear that? You know.
So I'm gonna go back to 1 second. And one of my all-time favorite things that came out of the Brimmer was that the Briggs benefit, which was really an amazing night. It was
That
the
was-
last
that was
time
the magical
that I got to
night.
perform with my very good friend Brad Delp. We did not know that at the time, but it would be the very last time that we got to perform with Brad. But my favorite is occasionally a picture will come up on like my computer or something from that gig, and you sitting in with John Popper. Your little face was like, you were so, I can't even describe it. It was just
heavy.
so
It was
heavy
pretty
for
heavy.
you.
It was pretty heavy, but I'll
It
tell
was
you
so
what.
amazing.
As heavy as that wasn't the heaviest thing that happened to me that night.
Really?
It wasn't, and it was, and I, you know,
Lord.
yeah, I mean, I had the early Blues Traveler records,
Yep.
like I was listening to them in, you know, 89, 90, 91, you know, right around then when they were just starting to, you know, and 92, 93, and they still weren't really huge, but they were like colleges and stuff,
Yep.
and, you know, and then it was, I don't know what it was 92 to 94 or something, and they had their big hit, which I can't remember I can't remember the name of the dang thing, but it's been so long. That was their big hit, and then they were gigantic, and then they were, you know, playing stadiums and whatever. But, so I was a huge fan of theirs early on. That was even before I really played harmonica with any kind of direction, you know? And so it was real heavy for me, but the thing that was even heavier for me is, so my band played the Queen City Kings.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that. I thought it was the other one.
And
Queen
it was,
City Kings.
yeah, it was the Queen City Kings, which was a horn band.
Yep.
It was a really good band.
Yeah, you guys killed.
I missed that band.
Yeah,
It was so
really
much
good
fun.
band.
It was so much fun. And that band started at the Brimmer. That band started at the Brimmer. And I won't go into the whole thing, but originally it was called the Queen City Kings.
Yep.
And it was me, Pike, Buddy Sullivan, Teddy Bukowski on bass.
Ty and Sullivan in.
Yeah, he was in the band. The three of us were the frontmen. So we all sang equally. Buddy sang, Tim sang, I sang. We all sang. And Teddy B on bass, Steve Bancuti on drums, Steve Prisby on piano, and that was the band, Queen City Kings. Shortly after that, Pike got the gig with the soul band. He left. Everybody left. As soon as Pike left, everybody was like out. They're like, oh, all right, we're all gone. So I reformed the band. It was Mr. Nick and Friends for a couple of years, and then we were doing all this horn music, and I was like, I want to get horns in here. So I took a pay cut. I didn't get any money. I didn't collect any money. I took a pay cut, and I gave the two horn players, they split my pay. And I would get whatever we could get in tips for the night. But we were doing all this horn music, and that's, you know, I was like, we got to get horns in here. And it just turned out so badass. And that was like the end of that band, kind of.
That night at the
It wasn't
Briggs
that night, but it was close. It was within that year.
Were you in it then? No, you had dispersed.
No, he had left.
Like,
He left right after Pike left. He left right after Tim. Everybody did. Everybody left right after Tim. Everybody just went, I'm out. So anyway, so I had this band, the Queen City Kings. We had a great set that night. We just killed it. And I got up off stage, and I'm just getting off the side of the stage, and I see this guy making his way through the crowd, and I can see as he's getting closer, it's Brad Delp.
oh.
And he's the place that night, the benefit for...
There's 500 people in there.
You couldn't move in
It's
there.
over capacity.
You couldn't move in that place.
Yeah.
And Brad made a Herculean effort to get through that crowd, to come up to me, to my face, and shake my hand and go, your band is fucking awesome. That's exactly what he said to me. Your band is fucking awesome. You guys were great. And I was like, no, wait, let me back up. Here's the first thing he said to me. He goes, hey, I'm Brad. I said, I know who the fuck you are. I know who you are because at this time in my life, I've already had 6 copies of Boston's first record.
Yeah.
I wear it out, I'd lose it, I'd buy another one. I never have not had a copy of that record since I first got that record. You know, it's one of my all-time favorite rock and roll records.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just a
But that's
killer
so
record.
Brad. I have a Brad story just like that in the beginning.
And that's how, I mean, that to me, that was like, I was floating for forever after that. I didn't give a shit what happened. I was like, what, are you going to tow my car? Man, go ahead. What do you need, a foot? You need a foot? Take the foot. I don't give a shit. I got another foot. I'm good.
Brad dug my band.
Yeah, that's right. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And then the night that you invited me over...
I was just going to say, was that before I brought you to the rock and roll Christmas party?
That was before the rock and roll Christmas party. It was. And you have your timing a little bit skewed too, because after that, the Briggs show, we also did the Christmas show at the Palace.
So that was the last time I played with Brad?
Yeah.
I thought that the Briggs was the last time we all played together.
No, because
Because that would have been November, September, November.
because I knew because I had I think
You're probably right.
yeah.
Because I think the Briggs benefit was sometime in November. I feel like it was October or November, and then
the Christmas
that would have been the
show.
last Christmas show I did with Brad.
Yeah,
you're
because
right, that's
I
probably the last
have
time.
video of it, and Gardner sent it to me of that night, and it was we were doing was the last song. Goodbye with a little help from my friends.
Yes, yeah.
So that was the
It's
last
a
song.
standard goodbye song. Yeah.
Right. So it was the last song of the night for the Christmas show.
Yeah.
And I was standing there with my arm around Brad, singing harmonies with him, and I was like...
Oh, no, the Christmas show was the John Lennon Christmas song. So this is Christmas.
No, that was what he sang.
What was
that was his
song?
song that he sang, but the last one of the night, it was Sal Baglio started it, and I'm pretty sure... Oh, no, it wasn't Goodbye with All Help My Friends. It was, no, it wasn't a Christmas song. It was like a...
What was it?
Oh my God!
I wish we had a tech that could look it up really quick.
Oh my God! That's what I brought this thing in for. I brought this iPad in so we could look shit up really quick. It was Sal Baglio started the song off, and it was a standard rock tune, and it's a song we all know in here.
Was it like Springsteen's version of Santa Claus is Coming to
No,
Town?
it wasn't a Christmas song. It was something about friends. It was something about. Man.
We're going to have to look it up.
How are we doing for time? Buddy Souls?
28 minutes.
Oh shit.
In or left?
In.
Oh.
Nice.
So anyway, this looks delicious. You go ahead.
I'm punching out.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but Gardner sent me
A video
the
of
video of it. I
I haven't
remember.
even seen that. I don't see that.
I have it. I have it at home somewhere.
I gotta see it. You gotta send it to me.
I'll have to send it to you.
Well, was I standing right next to Brad with the tall girl that played bass in Boston for a while? I can't think of her name.
Yeah,
Sorry, I can't remember her name right now.
Yeah.
And we were all singing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it, but I don't remember the song. It's just sad.
But that was another highlight because we were harmonizing on stage,
With
singing,
Brad Delp.
harmonizing with fucking Brad Delp, and we're armed over the top of each other. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was so insane. And then, so those were my first 2 experiences with Brad, and my third experience with Brad was at
The rock
the
and roll
Gaudreau's
party.
Rock and Roll Party.
Christmas party, yep.
And so we got to the party, and as soon as I got there, Brad grabbed me by the hand, and he brought me around the room, grabbed me by the hand and just brought me around the room and was introducing me to everybody.
Yeah,
and he'd go, this guy's incredible, you gotta go see his band. And I was like, what? What what the fuck is going on here?
So great.
It was so insane, man. It was so insane. It was one of the coolest experiences of my life. All three of those experiences were so, really affected me deeply as a person. Really, like, were really incredible experiences in my life. And so even though...
But you know what's crazy about that too? The timeline. Like, the timeline is like Briggs Benefit was probably like November-ish, if I remember it right.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas party was, the Christmas concert is December, and then the Goodrow's Christmas, rock and roll Christmas party is usually the Monday before Christmas, so then that would have been the next thing. So the timeline of all this stuff happening to you was really quick.
Yeah. And so I felt in that really short period of time a really deep connection to Brad. Even though, you know, we'd only spent, you know, a total of, you know, 2 hours together over the course of a month. It was like, so it really affected me. It really affected me hard when he passed. It was like...
Well, I need to say something right now about my friend Brad, that it was part of the thing of who he was. You know, my story was, I had an original band together with Barry Goodrow, one of the original guitar players for Boston, right? The first 2 records. And so I had a project and I was doing a CD release party, and I hadn't quite met Brad yet, you know, in passing here and there, but had not quite had that meeting yet. And so he came to the CD release party, and I was very excited that he was going to be there. And so the end of the set was very successful. It was at the Black Brimmer, of course it was. So I remember Barry Goodrow leaning over to me and saying, we're going to do an encore, let's do Long Time. He goes, go out and ask Brad if he'll come up and do it with us. And I go like this, I haven't even met him. I'm not, you ask him. You're Barry Goodrow, you ask him. And he goes, nope, if you go out and ask him, he'll do it. And I go, like, he's like, nope, you gotta go ask him. And I was like, so, you know, everybody's, yay, you know, thing, waving, like we go off for the encore. And so he's kind of off to the side or something. I don't know why he's standing there. I don't remember. But I go up to him and I go, hi, Brad. And I stupidly go, I'm Lisa Geyer. He's like, yeah, I know. I just watched your whole show. And who brought the cool kid. And so I was just like, listen, I would be so honored. We're going to do Long Time, you know, as an encore. I'd be so honored if you came up and did it. And he was like, oh, I can't go up and do that. You know, this is your show, whatever. I go, Brad, I go, you know, please, I would love it. He goes, listen, I'm not going to come up unless you come up and sing it with me. I go, listen to me. These people don't want to hear me sing Long Time. They'll throw tomatoes at me, not with you in the room. They want to hear you sing. He said, I'm not going up. I can't do it without you. That's what he says to me. I can't do it without you. And I just looked at him and I go like this, do you know that you're Brad Delp? And we both had this huge laugh. And then like, we became fast friends. Like right then and there we had that connection. But do you know you're Brad Delp? So that was my thing with him, right? But my friend Brad, everybody who ever met him, like you had this amazing experience with him in this short amount of time. There was something about his spirit and his, you know, his light, that he was just such a giver of his energy and such a sweet spirit. You know, I think part of that was kind of drained him and left him a little hollow and dark when he was alone, you know, maybe. Because he gave so much of that beautiful light when he was around people, and none of it was ever fake. You know what I mean? Like, you know that none of that was fake. Brad Delp is not going to take you around a room at this Christmas party that nobody even knows who you are except me, because I brought you, you know what I mean? And introduce you to all these people just to, you know, put his head up your ass. He's not doing that for that reason.
Yeah, he had nothing to gain.
No.
He had nothing to gain by doing it. That's why I know that it's, you know, I have nothing to offer him. It's not like I have a booking agency, or it's not like I have a club or a record label, or there's no reason for him to do it. He did it because that's what he felt, and that's why it was such a heavy thing for me.
And it's just his spirit was so sweet about it. He was such a genuine person. He just was just a really, 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 really good dude. I have quite a few stories about people that I was the conduit of why they got to meet Brad, and each and every one of them had that experience on some small level. Whether it was 5 minutes or 5 days or 5 years. They still to this day have that little story about, oh man, when I met him, he was so like genuine. You know, sometimes people get that weird delusional thing when they meet an idol that they think they're being so nice to him. It's weird. It's never ever that. That story was real. I'd be standing right there and be like, oh no, that's really real. Brad was very genuine and giving and loving and just a really a really great spirit, which is why it probably burnt out so quickly. You know, it just, you know, it was very tough to lose that beauty on so many levels. You know, just a beautiful spirit, human spirit here, and then that gift of that voice that just melts me every time I hear it. Like, I can't believe that I get to go to vocal rehearsals with Brad Delp, who's singing everybody's part for them in the middle of him singing his part, because it's all in his head. All those voices were in his head.
That's insane.
Just really beautiful, giving human being. I miss you, Brad. Yeah, good dude.
He was a good
I'm
dude.
glad that you got to have that experience with him.
Yeah, it was heavy. It was heavy, and I think about him a lot.
Yeah, it's a good dude.
I think about him often.
It's funny, when I think about Brad, I hear a Boston tune within 15 minutes of having that moment, that little Brad Delp moment all by myself. I'll hear a Boston tune.
Yeah,
it's
I
cool.
couldn't for a couple of years afterwards. As soon as it would come on the radio, I would have to change the channel.
Yeah.
I just couldn't listen to any of it. You know, it just really would make me sad.
Oh, it makes me happy.
But now it's you know, the music is so killer. You
Freaking
know,
voice.
yeah, his
Cut
voice.
him out.
Yeah.
He used to say to me all the time, like, your voice is so amazing. You sing like that all the time. Like, he'd say things to me, and I'd go, just because it was our joke, do you know you're Brad Delp? I would just always say it to him. Are you really saying this to me, Brad? Oh, no. He was just so sweet. Such a good dude, man. Again, Brimmer, right? All of that is all Brimmer.
Yeah, all Brimmer.
All of that's all
I
Brimmer.
feel like it's going to be the Brimmer again one day.
You do?
Yeah.
In our lifetime?
I think so.
We'll
I
be
think
like...
it'll be. I think it'll be. It's not going to be that Jade Dragon. That food there sucks.
No, dude, that's gone, isn't it? Is it
I
closed?
don't think so.
They're not having entertainment anymore, I know that.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing entertainment anymore because I've been by there on Friday or Saturday night and it's shut down.
I like to have this feeling that everything has a time frame, right? And so the Brimmer was just amazing for a long period of time, and then at the end it was kind of, you know, like anything, it kind of does this, right, a little bit. Some people have a tainted memory of, oh, those bathrooms were disgusting, or whatever it was, right? And the music got to be the same 5 bands rotating, whereas, you know, in the very beginning of the Brimmer, when Gardner and I started playing,
It's a blues club.
there was a duo. I saw some of the coolest people that, like, even at that time in the city, before the Verizon was there and all that stuff, Veterans Park would have these Thursday night things where they would bring, like, people in from, like, maybe touring some little Tupelo type circuit. And they'd go down and they'd do a little show during the day or until like 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock at night down at Veterans Park, the outside venue. And then so the owner of, one of the owners of Brimmer, Billy Mack, he tied himself into that because he was so brilliant in that way. And he'd get these guys to all come play. I saw the coolest people, old blues dudes from Texas and Chicago. I'm like, how's he getting these people to come here? And this was way before the stage was built and the house lights, and we were all playing. And you know when you walked in the older days, there was a wall right there? Do you remember that wall when you first
Little
walked in?
half wall?
Half wall, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
The band used to play right in front of that, facing the bar. It was horrible. And yeah, I'm the one that built the stage in the left for my first CD release party. I had a guy come in,
You know what?
build it, and we tore it down. And then I'd been telling him, you need to build a stage there. Nothing. So I had one built for my CD release party, and then the guy tore it down. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I paid him to do that. So within the next week, they built pretty much the same stage, a little smaller, but pretty much the same stage. And that came there. But I mean, we all played on the floor, including these cool blues guys. I saw so many cool bands there. So, you know, towards the end, it was after Billy Mack died, things really changed there. You know, Billy was the visionary. He wasn't afraid to spend money and make money, you know. He was that dude. And so, I mean, that's just my theory. But, you know, things changed. So towards the end, it was just kind of all the same bands, you know, the little circuit thing playing, and that's all great. But it had this really different energy about it the first, I would say, 10 years. You know? And we were part of that. That Wednesday that we formed was part of that cool energy.
One of the things that always amazed me about the success of that place was the sound in that place is such dog shit.
Horrifying!
It's the worst sound of
Ever.
any room ever, and it was amazing how much people didn't care about the sound. It was just about having fun. You know, they would go out no matter what to go out there.
It proves that the energy, the energy in the room is what it's all about.
Yeah.
I know it used to bum me out that it sounded so horrific.
Yeah, and there's not much you could do in that
It's
room.
just so-
I mean, there's just not. they're so big and so vast and such high ceilings. There's not a lot of soundproofing options. Yeah, the ceiling was metal. Yeah, tin.
really high. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of soundproofing options in there. You know.
I mean, they could have hung some stuff, but I've seen that done before. But they were
Right, little like straight up and down panels. Yeah.
They could have done that to help it, but I mean, they weren't going to do anything like that. They just weren't about that, you know. It already had the energy and some sort of force behind it that it needed. Why would they do that? You know, they didn't care about that. But yeah, that's so funny. The sound is so horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be something. I feel like it'll probably be the Brimmer again someday.
Well, it has to. It's got to have a course.
That Jade Dragon place the place sucked.
I feel bad, man, because that guy's a good dude.
Probably, I'm sure he's a fine guy. But did you ever go to their quote buffet that they had, their lunch buffet? No. Jesus Christ, it was like
3.5 items.
Yeah, it was seriously. It was like 3.5 items. Seriously, you'd go in there and there was like a little salad bar, and then there was like they had like a sushi, and there was like 2 different kinds of sushi. It was like, here's sushi with sour cream in it, or here's sushi with cream cheese in it, here's sushi with, you know, whatever in it. I don't know what was in it. But they had like 2 sushi things. You know, sushi. You know,
sushi.
This one has sour cream, that one has eggs.
There's a bunch of sushi in it.
This one's full of farts and whatnot. It really was a pitiful.
Yeah.
I went there. I met the Wheelers there one day for lunch.
Oh, the Wheelers. Yeah, hey, let's talk about that for a second.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about our friend Mo Wheeler.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Running in the marathon.
Yeah.
I posted something. I actually did it myself. Posted something on my Facebook page about her today. I'm very proud of her.
I meant to call her today. I'm so bummed I didn't
running
call her.
for suicide prevention. It's called something.
Yeah.
Damn it, I'm so bad at remembering something.
Well, Mo Runs for Hope is the name. Was what she was doing. I can't remember the suicide prevention.
Oh, it's just, I'm so proud of her. And,
Good Samaritans.
Good Samaritans, there it is. Yeah.
Something Samaritans.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the Good Samaritans, but it's something might be.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, Mo. Yeah, I texted her today, we talked a little bit. She said everybody was writing such nice things to her. She's like, I've been bawling all day. I go, well, that's good. Get that stuff out now, because tomorrow's going to be important.
Yeah, you don't want to be dehydrated. Try too much. You want to keep some of the H2O in your body.
Yeah, some of the saline in.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for her, though. I love those people. I just recently really got to know them. I've always kind of known her as a fan, kind of, she was always really cool and came up and say hi and just be really, she's a really cool person. And it kind of came about when Chad Marsh was putting that fundraiser on for her to raise the $10,000 she had to raise to run in this marathon. Yeah. And he asked me, he goes, do you think that, it was after my vocal cord surgery, and so he was like, do you think you'd be able to do it? He goes, you know, even if you just come, you know, Mo would really love it if you could be there. And I was a little bit like, who is she? And when he described her, I go, oh, I know who that chick is. And I was like, of course I'll come. And I was like, I'll sing. He was like, really? I go, yeah, I'll sing a couple songs, you know. So
I didn't know you were going to sing that night, so that was cool for me because I knew you were still on the mend, you know.
Yeah, so I went, and the cool thing that happened is I went to see Chad a couple of times because it wasn't working, you know, it wasn't working for 7 months, and so I went to see him, and there she was sitting in the little club, and she kind of came over to me, and she was like, oh my God, thank you so much, and we've been emailing a little bit because she was like, thank you, Chad said you're going to come, and I said to Chad to give her my info, so. And we just kind of started chit-chatting, and you know, in all honesty, if I'm being really honest, I was probably in the darkest place of my life at this period of my life. You know, I've never really ever been a dark person ever. But this was the time for me that I needed to reflect, and huge things were happening in my life, including vocal cord surgery, and my career was actually changing, my band was ending, you know, my income was disappearing, like it was a huge change for me. So I was in this dark place, and her and I just chit-chatted, and I didn't even know that the fundraiser, I didn't even know what she was running for. I was just like, yeah, I'll show up, I don't know what it's for, you know, of course. Yeah. So we just started talking about what it was, and I was just like, oh, sister, I hear that, man. I go, you know what? 5 months ago in my own life, I would have been like, yeah, no, I don't know what it's like to not feel like you're in your own skin and be in such a dark place, you feel hopelessness. I don't know what that's like. But I was all like, I know what that's like. you know. And so we had this little connection.
Yeah.
And one night she sends me, it was real late at night, I just happened to be on my iPad in bed, and she sent me this email, and all it said was, check this out, it's my all-time favorite song, makes me feel good. And I open it up, and it's this old 1960-something. It's Sinatra writing the best of his prime. He's maybe between 38 and 42, right? And he's got the hat on, the whole thing, and he's singing That's Life. Now, that genre and that era is really connected to my father for me. So this is a very good thing. She doesn't know any of this about me. And so she sends this thing to me, and it's just the lyrics and stuff, and it just really touched me. Like, it really touched me. So I contacted her back, and I was like, dude, whatever. So I contacted Chad, and I go, I need to talk to Nate. Is Nate playing for me? I need to talk to him because I'm learning that song and singing it for her at her benefit. Yeah. So since then, her and I have been fast friends. I dig that girl. She's a really good person.
Well, I
Cool too.
became friends with the Wheelers out of the benefit show for you.
Which is pretty close in time frame. Within a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been the last, whatever, it's been a year and a half or
year.
Whatever. Since,
14 months for me. That.
Yeah. Because they saw me at your benefit show.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I didn't know them before that, and they came up to me, and then Then right after that, I got the gig at Nolan's, which I got because of the benefit show. Because Lou, the owner, and his girlfriend Erica were at the benefit show, and it was a weird thing, man. We were doing this Monday thing at Whippersnappers. It was me and Ken Clark and Ephraim, and
you were doing the opposite of my news.
We were doing the opposite of you, right?
Of my news,
right?
Awesome.
So we were doing doing the opposite Mondays from you, right?
Yep.
And they wanted to do they were going to go back to every Monday with you, and so our time was ending there, so I was looking for a new place to go, and I was on my motorcycle, and I was riding down Elm Street, and I was heading towards the old Bremer. That was my goal, was to go there. And then as I went by, as I was riding down, I was thinking, I heard there was this place over here called like Nolan's, and as soon as I thought it, I looked up and I saw the sign. I passed it. I did a U-turn. I came back and I went inside, and I went in. And as soon as it was Erica, Lou's girlfriend, was there, and this was Monday. So your benefit was Sunday.
Yep.
And this was the next day, the very next day. And so I walked in, and Erica had this giant smile on her face. And I was like, "Hi, I'm Nick. I'm do this Monday thing. I'm trying to find a new home for it." And yada yada yada, and she's got this big giant smile on her face, and I'm like, I couldn't
read it.
Yeah, I couldn't read it. I was like, is she stuck that way? Like, why is she so like permagrin? Is what's going on with this chick? And she goes, hang on, I'll be right back. And then she goes out and gets Lou, and he comes out, and then they both have this big giant smile on their face, and I'm like, all right, there's something going on here. And they go, we were at the show last night, and they were, they were like, it was your part in the show was awesome, and we would love to have you.
No, your part in the show ripped the roof off the dump. And I'm just going to interrupt you right now because I knew when you and I had that phone conversation, when Minion, my assistant Nicole, was kind of putting this show on. She'd never done anything like that, so I was kind of just in the background.
Which,
kind of
let me interrupt you for a second. Yeah. She did an incredible job.
She did a great job. So I was just in the background. I was like, I'm not going to put my own show on. But I was just kind of in the background, what do I do, who do I call, what do I do? And I would just give her all the things, this is what you do. And so, when you and I talked, I saw you or whatever, you called me or whatever you did, and you were like, I would love to be part of it. And I was like, Nick, there's so many people already part of it. I appreciate it. Please, you'll be backstage, the whole thing, I want you there. And then, I believe it was the Fools who pulled out and they couldn't make it, and I had that little thought process of we have the Mama Kicks house band being there, and they're not really doing anything except they're really 4 sticks. And and I was like, oh my God, I'll take that 15-minute slot and I'll make that be a few. I can get 3 more acts in there that way. And you were the first one I thought of. I go, I gotta call Nick. Nick's got to be good. Nick's got to do a song, and then I chose. And then I realized that I actually am the go-to girl for these things. There was no chicks being represented in the show.
Yeah.
And so I asked the Ali Beaudry and Kim Riley if they would do a number, and then my friend Bobby Livingston. But the minute you and I talked, and I said, "What song are you gonna do?" and you said "Little Demon," I went like this. In my head, I saw it. I saw the whole thing play in front of my face. That moment on the telephone, I go, "Yeah, he's the one taking the show in that one song." Like, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew you were gonna take the show in that song. I just knew. It's one of those things.
Well, it was when we were talking on the phone. You were like, "Why don't you do that? That's My Life song. I really like that song."
Right.
And I went, "No, I got one song. You're gonna give me one song?
Yeah.
All right, I'll do one song.
Yeah.
You want me to do one song? I'll do one song.
You're just gonna give me one song?
I'm just gonna give you one.
That's fine.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. I just need one. I need one. All right.
One tiny little song.
Huh?
Watch me.
Yeah. Here we go. Look out, fuckers. Here we go.
No, but you said because I have your record and I love it.
Yeah.
And I played it endlessly for about 3 months. I loved it so much, and
50.
Oh yeah, 10 minutes.
so the minute you said "Little Demon," I was like, yes.
And it
Yes.
was everybody up to that point was great.
Amazing.
Everybody was all of the acts of that whole place
the
were awesome. But
the show was doing this right there. The show was humming.
Yeah,
this
it was
real
just-
appreciative, like, "Ooh, this is lovely. This is all going on," and then you came out and kicked it in its teeth.
Yeah, it was like a
Elevated it.
yeah.
this other point.
They opened up the doors in the nut house and
There it is.
I just came out and like. You know, it was like, oh, everybody was just like, oh, that's
This is a lovely evening.
Everybody's wonderful.
Very
Everybody, yeah, it was
Isn't
like
it lovely they're all here for
yeah,
this?
it was a you know, what's the word that I'm thinking of? It was a listening audience. It was all everybody was just listening and it was just appreciative and everything. And
You
all right.
can change that.
Put the alarms on in here. Let's set some alarms off in this place.
Just
right
so
about now.
great. It was just so great. And I had so many people. Now, because Godsmack headlined that, you know, there was a lot of Godsmack fans that were also Avalon fans, which is the project that I did with Sully, that I got tons of, Facebook posts saying, like, "Who was that guy?" Like, all this stuff. And other people, too, were just contacting me, like, "Who was that guy?" It was actually a little surprising to me, because you're my friend and I've known you for quite a while, that these people didn't already know who you were. Like, that just surprised me. I was like, "You don't know who Nick is? That's really weird."
Well,
like,
we're in different. We're traveling
we're very different
yeah.
families. I know, but I don't know, because I think you're amazing. I think everybody knows you. I don't know. So I was just a little surprised, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, no way, his band is amazing." I would send them all your information. It was awesome.
I got a lot of new fans from that
It
one
was
show,
awesome.
from that one song. I still get people that come up to my shows and they come out and they go, "I came out here tonight because I saw you at Leisure."
Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome? But I'm just realizing in this conversation how intertwined our lives have been without us even super really knowing it. Like, you going like, "Oh, after that benefit, I went down and I got that gig there." Like, I didn't play well, but I didn't know it was because of the benefit, and like the whole Brad Delp thing that, you came and you played that, and I knew Brad and Brad was there, and that all happened. And it's really funny how we're so intertwined, the two of us. I just realized that. That's funny.
Bitch, I knew it. Bitch, I was winding and twining all the time. Right. All right, so we got like a few minutes left. We are going to give Cumby's Bob a call, because one of the things that we're going to do here every week is Cumby's Bob is going to give us a little piece of weekly advice.
Nice.
So,
Can I just say this real quick before we do go while you're dialing or whatever? Like, let's just mention that our very first guest that we're going to have on will be our good friend Charlie Farron next week.
God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's really,
I can't believe it.
I can't wait, Charlie Farron. Oh, see?
I can't believe we got him for our first
I
guest.
love
And it
that.
was so effortless. I sent him one message, and within 15 minutes he was like, "I got it in my books, give me the details."
That's great.
Like, he didn't even ask me what it was. I said, "Hey, Lisa and I are doing a podcast." And he went, "All right." I gave him the date. He goes, "I'm there, give me the details."
That's awesome.
It was that simple. I couldn't
I'm
believe
psyched.
how I'm very excited. So
I'm
Charlie
excited.
Farron,
He'll be performing
Yeah.
too, right? One song at least.
I'm
we
sure
hope.
I'm
Okay.
sure he'll probably sing something or
A little
whatnot.
song or a ditty of some sort.
So a couple of silly things that we're going to do every week is, so I know this guy, Bob from Cumberland Farms. I call him Cumby's Bob. And every
That's
time
clever.
every time I go into Cumby's, he has a little silly piece of fun, silly advice for me. And so I decided we're going to give him a call every week, and we're going to get a little piece of silly advice from him.
And I don't know him, so this will be very exciting.
Right, you're just meeting him for the first time.
So excited right now.
So I
Ecstatic.
have to look up his number right
Dude, I'm
here.
ecstatic to
You're
talk to
ecstatic.
Bob.
How ecstatic are you?
I'm ecstatic like mad.
Are you
Frickin'
wicked?
A.
Are you freaking wicked
I'm
super
wicked
static or what,
super
dude? I can't believe how
Unbelievable.
super wicked static you are.
Ecstatic.
You're like crazy super static or
I'm
something.
ticked. I'm so static.
You're like static beyond static or what?
That's dude, frickin'. Forget about it, guy.
I can get about it. Here we go.
Alright.
We're going to say thank you, Skype. We're using our little Skype program. And here we go. The phone is ringing.
We should have a phone is ringing song. Phone is ringing. I don't know, something.
The phone is ringing.
What are you, Ginger from Gilligan's Island?
The phone is ringing. The phone is ringing.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
That phone is ringing like a crazy.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
That phone is from the Biscuits.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, not gonna give away his number.
Uh-oh.
Nope, nobody gets his number.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna try him again.
Ah.
Let's go. Here we go. Cumby's Bob. You're gonna mess me up now by
Cumby's
not
Bob's
answering the
let
phone.
us down.
I'm gonna say your real name, Bob. Keep it up. Oh shit.
You just keep it up,
Keep
Bob.
it up, Bob.
Bab.
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 The phone is ringing.
The phone is
I
ringing.
said the phone is ringing.
The phone is ringing.
It is the phone. It is ringing. It's the phone. The phone is ringing. It's the phone. It's the phone. It's the phone. It's the phone. Hey,
You leaving a message?
well, screw Cumby's Bob, he screwed us. Son of a bitch. Oh boy, I'm gonna send him a text message.
He's dead to us.
Cumby's Bob. God dang it. God dang it, Cumby's Bob.
Killing us.
You're killing us.
Killing us, Cumby's Bob.
We're trying to call you, Cumby's
Trying to do
Bob.
something here, man, and you're crunching our groove.
We're trying to call you, Bob. We're trying to call you. We're trying to call you. We're trying to call you. Cumby's Bob. Cumby's Bob.
There's the intro right there to every time we call Cumby's Bob. If we ever do it again, because he's dissing us.
Alright, well, he's got old
Natural.
Chuck over there.
Chucky.
Old Chuck you Folly.
Chuck.
Chuck you Folly. Chuckakles.
Chicackles! Chicackles!
Old Chuckakles. He's got that. He's got that. So you can make a song out of that.
Oh, he's got that.
He's got that.
You
Old
take
Chuckles. Old Chuckles.
Chuckles, you take
Old
it.
Chucky McChuckensteins. I'm gonna try and call Cumby's Bob one more time.
Oh man, really?
One more time. We're gonna give him the phone is ringing.
Okay. Alright, this
Oh, the phone is
is ringing out. Okay, go ahead, start.
Oh, level,
I can't look at you when you do it. Phone is ringing. Phone is ringing.
It is a phone. It is a ring-a-ding-a-ding.
Phone is ringing.
It is a phone. It is a ring.
Phone is ringing.
It is a
Phone
phone.
is ringing.
It is a ring.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Ring,
Bob.
ding, ding, ding.
Pick it up, pick it up,
It is a rain. It is a phone. It is a rain. Okay, you can't hear the number. I'm not gonna. What's that? Alright, I don't know. I think you got that number on that. We're gonna have to sketch it out. These are really good mics. So 1 minute to go.
That's it.
That's it?
That's 60 minutes.
Do we get to say goodbye?
We're over. Yeah, do whatever you want.
Can we say goodbye right now? Don't forget Charlie Farron next podcast.
Yeah, we're not in any. There's no constraints. We can go over by a few minutes. It's all right. There's no. There's
You
no.
want to say
My
the
alarm-
sponsors again?
Yeah, we're gonna do
Alarm didn't go
sponsors
off.
again. Your alarm didn't go off.
Not yet, but I said
Your
it for an
alarm's
hour.
dog shit McGee.
My alarm is as reliable as Bob.
Also, one of the things. So we're gonna do.
Here it comes.
We're gonna do
Here it
Bob.
comes.
Hey, that's our time, ladies and gentlemen. That's our time for Ridiculous Podcast. We're so glad you came out here to listen to us here on Ridiculous Nicholas Podcast. All right, so one of the silly things that we were doing every week is we're going to call Cumby's Bob and get a piece of advice. Cumby's Bob, fuck
I got
us
some
over.
advice for him.
Yeah.
Pick up your phone.
Yeah, pick up your phone, stupid.
Stupid.
Stupid. Don't be stupid, Cumby's
You
Bob.
said you were gonna be there.
And the other thing that we're going to do every week is we're going to pick a little song that's it's something TV related. It's going to be a TV show theme
What did
or
you have an idea
or-
of what we should call
or
it?
a commercial. What was it?
Oh, that was really good. It explained it. We should write these down.
old timey TV tunes.
Old timey TV tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna call it. Yeah.
We need
Old
to
timey.
write a theme song to that. Old timey TV tunes.
Old timey TV tunes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for old timey TV tunes. Oh.
Maybe
right.
something
Yeah.
better about it.
So-
That's something to work with, Chuck.
We'll work on it, Chuck.
Chuck, can you work on that for us? Chuck,
And
Yeah.
this week's old timey TV tune goes like this.
Go.
My baloney has a first name.
O-S-C-K.
Oh!
Maloney has a second name. It's
M-A-Y-E-R.
oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way of D-O-L-O-G-N-A. How's that?
That's it. That's all our silliness for tonight. Once again, this podcast is brought to you by Team Link, Hooksett, New Hampshire, 1338 Hooksett Road. Their phone number is 603-641-3444. Again, started by the mixed martial arts great Gabriel Gonzaga, UFC top contender. If you mention the Ridiculous Nicholas podcast, when you go in there, they'll give you 30 days free of classes and a free t-shirt. And we're also brought to you by Pizza 911, voted best pizza in Manchester by the Hippo Press. They got great pizza, subs, salads. Their phone number is 603-625-2201, 625-2201. If you mention that you heard about Pizza 911 on the Ridiculous Nicholas podcast, they will give you a free order of breadsticks. Thank you so much, everybody
Thank
that's
you.
listened to our very first episode of the Ridiculous Nicholas podcast. And next week we'll be here with Charlie Farron. We will
Yes.
see you there. Love you all. Good night.
Nice.